You ever watch a single moment in sports and just know deep down that it's bigger than what the scoreboard will ever show? You can feel it, like a shift in the air, like history knocking at the door. That's what this entire storyline feels like right now. This isn't just about a quarterback competition. It's not just about one coach's decision or a depth chart shuffle. No, this is about identity, about resilience, about one young man standing tall in the middle of doubt, noise, and expectations that could crush most people. His name is Sanders, and if you've been paying attention, you can see it. He's not just waiting for his moment. He's preparing to change the entire story. Because here's the truth, the number 2 job in Cleveland, it's still up for grabs. The media, the reporters, they ask him face to face, are you still competing for that role? And Sanders, he doesn't flinch, he doesn't bristle, he doesn't let them see even a crack. He simply looks back, calm as ever, and says, whenever it's time for me to get out there and play, I'ma play. Adversity knocks you down, but the main thing is, you push through it. I'm playing for more than just me. That's not just a response, that's a mission statement, a declaration, a quiet fire burning. And before I peel this story back any further, I've got something lined up for all of you. I'm giving away an official jersey, completely free. All you have to do is drop a comment below and make sure you're subscribed. That's it. Before the first regular season kickoff, I'll pull a winner from the comments and the subscribers. So if you've ever thought about joining this community, now's the time. Hit that subscribe button, leave your take below, and you might just be repping a brand new jersey when the season starts. Now let's get back to it. Kevin Stefanski made it clear. Joe starts, Dylan gets the next look. Sanders is listed at number 3. And to the casual fan, that might sound like the end of the conversation. But for those who really know this game, for those who understand the psychology of players, you'd expect that kind of news to sting. You'd expect it to shake a young quarterback's confidence. But Sanders, he's cut from something different. He doesn't spend energy on titles. He doesn't live inside labels. His mind is set on something bigger, the moment when the lights are brightest. And when that moment comes, he's already told us what's going to happen. He'll shine brighter than anyone else on that field. That's not arrogance, that's conviction. The kind of conviction you can't fake no matter how hard you try. He doesn't count snaps in practice. He doesn't stay awake at night replaying his coach's words. His belief runs deeper than that. It's unshakable. He knows that when the stage is set, when the noise is deafening, when the weight feels unbearable, that's when he'll step up. That's when he'll show the world exactly who he is.
And here's what really makes him different. This isn't just about Sanders. He said it himself, I'm playing for a lot more than just me. He's carrying his family, he's carrying his supporters, he's carrying his city. Every single person who's ever believed in him, he takes them onto the field with him. That's not ego, that's responsibility. That's what pushes him forward, no matter the setbacks, no matter the obstacles. And if you look back at his journey, high school, college, now the pros, the story hasn't changed. He never complained, he never looked for excuses. He played through pain. He pushed through the moments that would have broken others. That's what defines him. That's why he's here now, in this moment, standing at the edge of opportunity. And the growth, it's showing. You can hear it in the way he talks now, about patience, about gratitude. He calls it a blessing just to compete, just to step onto the practice field, just to put on that uniform. And when you combine raw talent with that kind of perspective, with that kind of humility, you don't just get a player, you get a storm. We saw flashes of that storm in his most recent training session. At first, he was shaking off the rust, feeling the rhythm after injury. But then came that throw, that single throw. And if you saw it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It wasn't just a touchdown pass. It was a statement. It was proof. Poise, accuracy, timing. He dropped it exactly where it needed to be. And in that moment, every doubt, every question mark hovering over his name, they went silent. Because that throw wasn't luck, it wasn't practice, it was preparation. It was proof that Sanders isn't just showing up, he's building something. He's laying the foundation for what's coming next. The kind of throw that makes teammates nod, makes coaches take notes, and makes critics start second-guessing their own words. And when Dillon Gabriel had his comments, Sanders could have snapped back. He could have let anger take over. He could have given the media the headline they were waiting for. But instead, he stayed calm.
He said he doesn't dwell on it because God gave him the strength to rise above all that noise. And maybe on the surface, it looked like he brushed it off. But if you really watched, if you studied his body language, you saw it. He heard every word, and he stored it away, quietly. Not for the cameras, not for the press, for the moment when he steps on that field and makes everyone remember. That's his fuel. That's his edge. Quiet fire, the kind that doesn't burn out when the headlines fade. That's what separates him. Some players hear the chatter and crumble. Sanders hears it and builds. He takes every doubt, every slight, every setback, and he stacks them into the foundation of his next performance. So yeah, you can call him third string, you can call him unproven, you can dismiss him as a backup. But here's the thing, you can't ignore what he's already told us. When the lights are blazing, when the pressure feels crushing, when the moment is bigger than the moment itself, he's going to rise. And when he does, there won't be any debate left. Everyone, coaches, teammates, fans, critics, they'll see what he's been saying all along. I am who I am, and when it's my time, I'll prove it. You ever notice how certain athletes don't just play the game, they carry it? Not just in their stats, not just in their highlight reels, but in the way they stand, the way they walk, the way they face pressure. It's something deeper. You can hear it in the silence after they speak, in the way they refuse to bite back at critics, in the way they let their actions echo louder than words ever could. That's Sanders right now. A young man caught in the middle of one of the loudest, most unforgiving narratives in the league. Cameras in his face, critics at his throat, coaches making decisions that speak volumes without saying a word. And yet, he doesn't break. He doesn't stumble. He doesn't even blink. Because Sanders has already figured out something most people never will. Answers don't live in press conferences. They don't live in hot takes. They don't live in the noise. They live under the lights, on the field. In those seconds when the game slows down, the crowd holds its breath, and a single throw decides everything. That's where truth is written. That's where Sanders plans to answer. When I listened to him speak about it, it stopped me in my tracks. He said, "Honestly, I don't even think about that stuff. I don't think about things I can't control. Words, comments, that's just air. God gave me this ability, this power, so why would I waste it worrying about what people say?" That right there, that's not the voice of a rookie rattled by pressure. That's the voice of a young man grounded in something bigger than himself. That's composure forged in fire. And it tells you everything about why Sanders is not just another quarterback buried on a depth chart. He's a story waiting to be written. And here's the reality. The very same people mocking him today, tearing down his name, will be the same ones shouting his praises tomorrow. That's how it works. That's the business. When you're down, they bury you. But when you rise, they trip over themselves to pretend they believed in you all along. And right now, nobody represents that noise more than Colin Cowherd. Cowherd hasn't just been critical, he's been gleeful. Every chance he gets, he frames Sanders as a mistake, a misstep, a charity case. He looks at Stefanski's decision to push Dillon Gabriel to QB2 and Sanders down to QB3 as a masterstroke, a safe, smart move from a top coach. And he praises it with that smug tone, like he's delivering gospel truth. But listen closely. It's not just analysis, it's dismissal. It's personal. It's almost like he wants Sanders to fail. And he doesn't stop there. He digs deeper. He points out that half the league needed quarterbacks and none of them took Sanders. He hammers the draft narrative. Gabriel in the 3rd round, Sanders in the 5th. The league has spoken, he says, like one draft night is the final word on a man's destiny. And then, the jab that cuts deepest, he claims the only reason Sanders is even in Cleveland is because Jimmy Haslam wanted it. In Cowherd's story, Sanders isn't a competitor, he's a favor. That's the kind of narrative that destroys players. That's the kind of talk that seeps into locker rooms, gnaws at confidence, and crushes momentum. But not Sanders, not this time, because Sanders refuses to let anyone else write his story. He's writing it himself. Every rep, every throw, every silent moment where he chooses focus over fury. And if you've watched him practice, you know exactly what I mean. Coming off injury, Sanders didn't ease back into it. He attacked.
A laser of a touchdown pass, threaded through defenders like a needle through cloth. Poise in the pocket, reading defenses with calm precision. And then, that look in his eyes, the look that says, "I don't need your approval, just watch me." That's how Sanders answers, not with social media posts, not with clapbacks, with performance, with execution, with football. And let's not overlook something that gets lost in the noise, his maturity. Because in a league overflowing with egos and hotheads, Sanders is different. He doesn't throw teammates under the bus. He doesn't take cheap shots at Gabriel, at coaches, or at the media. He leans on faith, on discipline, on the belief that every ounce of noise is just part of the process. That's wisdom far beyond his years. That's leadership before the title of starter has even been given to him. So when Cowherd dismisses him as a fifth-rounder, Sanders doesn't flinch, because he knows the truth. Draft position doesn't define destiny. History is filled with late-rounders who became legends. He's not chasing validation in August, he's building for the moment that counts. And that's what makes him dangerous. Because success in this league isn't about when you hear your name called on draft night. It's about how you grind when nobody's watching, how you endure when every obstacle is stacked against you, how you rise when the spotlight finally swings your way. And that's why Sanders is more than a depth chart statistic. He's resilience, he's faith, he's focus. He's proof that the critics don't get the final word. Mark my words, the day is coming. Sanders will get his shot, and when he does, his play will echo louder than every critic combined. The road ahead won't be smooth. It will test him, it will challenge him, it will throw roadblocks in his path. But if you've been watching, you already know, Sanders is built for it. His patience is sharpening him, his discipline is strengthening him. And that fire, that quiet, steady fire burning in his chest, is the reason he's going to outlast the noise. So I'll leave it to you. What do you think? Is Sanders' patience going to pay off? Do you believe the criticism fuels him, or that he blocks it out completely? And when that moment comes, when the spotlight is burning down on him, do you believe Sanders has what it takes to rise up and prove himself? Because I'll tell you what I believe. From everything I've seen, everything I've heard, everything I've felt watching this journey, it's clear. This isn't just another quarterback story. This is the beginning of something bigger. And when history looks back, Sanders won't be remembered as QB3. He'll be remembered as the one who turned doubt into destiny. And me? I'm betting on Sanders.